So, a very good morning, student. Once again, I welcome to you all for the online lecture series on remote sensing and GIS. So, this was basically a course which has been designed to to aware you all for the remote sensing and GIS, that is Geographic Information System. So today, what we'll do, we'll start with the one of more part, that is GIS part. So GIS is basically Geographic Information System. So in from today, in coming lecture, I will be delivering the lecture on the topic GIS, and we'll be covering the different topics which is related to GIS. So today we will start the Geographic Information System, that is GIS, right? So in this lecture, we will cover the basic of GIS as well as how we are using this GIS function in our remote sensing. Because, my dear students, frankly speaking, you cannot separate this remote sensing and GIS when you are involved in the satellite images or the airborne image interpretation, right? So GIS and remote sensing both are complementing each other. So here let us see what exactly GIS means. So what is actually the definition of GIS? So we'll start with the definition of GIS. So GIS is a Geographic Information System, is a system designed to capture, store, manipulate, analyze, manage, and present all the types of spatial or geographical data, right? So it is very important here to note one point, that we are talking about the geographical or spatial data. So whenever we are involving the GIS analysis, we always use spatial data or the geographical data. Let us consider some parameters like x है, y है और z है, ठीक है? It can be any parameter, but we don't have any location values attached to these parameters. So पहली चीज तो ये कि GIS, that is Geographic Information System, is a system which is designed to capture, store, manipulate, analyze, manage, and present all types of spatial or the geographical data. लेकिन GIS में we need to have the location information in terms of either latitude, longitude, or the location name. If you know that place, it will be very easy to, if you know that place, it will be very easy to locate them in your map where exactly you have collected or measured these parameters. ठीक है? So this is the benefit of using GIS for your attribute data. So here I have mentioned spatial data and geographical data. So this was in terms of the field investigated result. Now you think of using remote sensing data. So in remote sensing data, as we know, we have location value attached to each of the pixels. So here in GIS, what we are doing, we are capturing, we are storing, we are manipulating, we are analyzing, we are managing and presenting. So we are doing everything from the scratch. So the whole process comes under GIS, right? So whenever we say that I am working in GIS domain, it includes all those parameters here, right? So let us see one more definition. When we talk that GIS is a system which is designed to capture, store, manipulate, analyze, manage, and present all the type of spatial and the geographical data. Same time, GIS allow us to integrate many data in a single map, which enables to visualize, question, analyze, and interpret the data to understand the relationship, patterns, and trends more efficiently. ठीक है? तो देखो, if you have 10 parameters collected in separately from a field during a filling investigation, and if you see them independently and separately, what will happen? You will end up analyzing only those parameters. So it allows us to integrate many data in a single map, which enables to visualize, question, analyze, and interpret the data to understand the relationship, patterns, and trends more efficiently. But if you have a flexibility, or if you can bring them in GIS environment where you can integrate n number of data sets together for an area, then it will be easy to understand that particular study area in terms of your application. So here GIS gives you a platform where you visualize the data, you can run some queries, you can analyze the data, you can interpret the data. Why we are doing that? अब उसको समझने के लिए, to understand the relationship between different parameters, then patterns, you need to decide if this particular study area is having some patterns in terms of some parameter, then accordingly decision has to be made and trend can also be established here, right? So एक चीज और देखिए GIS के बारे में. For GIS, that is for the Geographical Information System, is an organized collection of what? Organized collection of computer hardware, software, geographic data, and a personnel who can capture, store, update, manipulate, analyze, and display the data as information. So here basically what we are doing, we are using these things to store and visualize the data. But here, this is your input data. It can be spatial data or geographic data. And the personal here, you can have group of people who are involved in capturing the data. So one team will do capturing, another team may use to store them, and another team can just update the information at regular intervals. So another team or another group of people, they can play with this data to analyze and display. So that is why here you have an environment of people as well as the software and computer where everything is integrated together, right? So in GIS system, basically a spatial data or geographical data is needed. But for what? To analyze and interpret or visualize them to establish the some relationship or pattern or trend. But for all these processes, you need to have your input data. So first, let us understand what is the difference between data and information. So सबसे पहले चीज हमको ये समझनी पड़ेगी कि डेटा और इंफॉर्मेशन में क्या डिफरेंस है, बिकॉज the both the two things are very different. Because here we are calling it geographic information system, but the input is your data. So let us understand what exactly data means and information means. ठीक है. So next slide will be your will be about your data versus information. So the first question which I am going to ask, or which I will be answering, are they different or same? So the answer is they are different. How they are different? Data is of little use, okay, unless it is transformed into information. So let us assume that you have collected groundwater depth for an area, and if you do not analyze that data, what is the use of that data? That is meaningless. You don't have anything from that data. So whenever you are involved in GIS, we need to analyze that data. So that is why we need to understand what is the difference between data and information. So information क्या है? Information is an answer to a query based on the raw data. So basically we want to transform this data into information, right? That is the process. So here, how we do that? We study that collected information or data, and then we derive the information. We transform the data into information through the use of an information system. So data को हम information में कैसे convert करते हैं? Information system का use करके. Because क्या होता है कि data हमारे लिए it is of little use for us until unless you convert into an information. एक example है. So you can see here you can see this is your data, right? So these are some numbers. यहाँ पे ये कुछ numbers हैं. So if I am not an expert in analyzing these numbers, so for me it will be, for me or for you, it will be it is useless by meaningless data. But for you, you it may be for of use, right? Because you know how to interpret this data. So you can see here, after the processing, एक बार process किया, you can transform this data into information, and you can study some letters here, right? So that is the basic difference between data and information. Here it was your some number which was of little use until unless it is transformed into some information through a process. So it is the difference between data and information. I hope it is clear to you now. What do you mean by information system? I hope you have understood the difference between data and information. But nowadays, everybody is talking about the information system. So so what exactly that information system means? So for that, I have again an example for you all. Just see this. This is a pictorial representation. So whenever you have a doubt, like if you want to learn some topic, or you want to know what is the meaning of remote sensing, or what is the meaning of remote sensing in Hindi, English, Urdu, Kannada, then what you do? You immediately, nowadays what you do? You go to Google and type it there. So we send a query to information system. हम क्या करते हैं? हम information system को एक query भेजते हैं. Then you will receive an answer. I'm not saying that all the time whatever you get that is 100% correct, but you get some answers, and based on your intellectual ability, you interpret that answer, and then you have an option either to use that answer or not, right? So here this particular person is having some query. Okay, here this particular person is having certain query. Now what he will do? He will just ask his query. Whenever, just suppose you are there and you have some query. Okay, so what you do? You just ask a question. It may be related to math that that he or you want to learn, and then you send this query to information system, and the information system understand that question, and then it provides some answer. So that is the meaning of your information system. So information system is a system which can provide your answer about your question. Now there are very common example of information system. So you can see, I will show you a very common example. See, you can see whenever you want to call a person, you look for the telephone directory. आप telephone directory पे जाते हो, right? So you have their name, you just go to that page, and then you identify the number, and then you call them. So that is the best example of information system. Now here in the library, all of us are using this library. Okay, ये library सभी लोग अपने college में भी use करते होंगे. So here, how do you identify the position of your book? By using the catalog. Either it will be online or maybe offline. So you just search with the letters of that book. Then you identify which rack, which sequence they are lying, right? And then you go and pick up that book. So that is the best example of your information system. And nowadays, this Google, whenever you search, whenever you want to learn something, or when you want to know about some topic or some subject, you just Google, you will get some answers, and then you analyze it, whether it is correct or wrong. So this was related to information system. Now let us see what is the difference between the information system and the digital information system. दोनों फिर से अलग चीजें हैं. तो ये difference हम देखेंगे. So this is the figure here, and itself it explains what is the meaning of digital information system. So nowadays all our mobile phone, desktop PCs or hard disk are connected with this internet. Okay? And through internet, you are sending a query, you are getting an answer. So that is the meaning of digital information system. Suppose you have done a very good research work, but everything is in hard copy and it is lying in your table. In that case, you cannot access or nobody else can access the information from your table. So that will be a hard copy information. So whenever you convert them to digital form, or then you make them available to the internet, and if anybody across the globe can access that, that can qualify the digital information system, right? So digital information system also applies for a group of people. So maybe you have a very restricted information which can be accessed only by a few individuals. That also qualifies the digital information system. So nowadays, whenever you go to field, you collect some data, and from there itself you send to your office or lab, right? Or maybe somebody else has completed that field investigation and you want to assess it, it can come to you through this digital information system. So slowly we are evolving ourselves and we do not want to repeat the same exercise again and again. So we want to make all our data sets available in the internet or maybe in our server. So digital, this on our server server. So digital C. So I guess this is clear to you all. So slowly we are evolving ourselves and we do not want to repeat the same exercise again and again. So we want to make all our data sets available in the internet or maybe in our server. So digital information system is an integration of hardware and software to enable the advanced research, communication, education, awareness, etc. Now you have understood what is the difference between data and information. Then information system, then digital information system. Now we are using geographic information system. So in geographic information system, what extra we have? We have location. Okay, we have the location, that is the additional value which is has to be in the GIS domain. So let us see what are the different steps or different components of this GIS. Okay, so let us see. So GIS acquisition or procurement to scanning of the hard copies, manual digitization of a scan map, remote sensing images. These are the part of your input data. Then in GIS, we also make sure of the database management. So in database management, you have data security, data integrity, data storage, data retrieval, data update. So once you make a database for, let us say, what is the water quality of maybe take an example of Mumbai. So what kind of water people are drinking in Mumbai, so that you have done extensive survey in 2019 and you have made a very good database. So after 5 years, will it be same? The answer is no. It will either improve or it will be, the case will be very worsened. And in present scenario, the case will be very worsened. So in that case, you need to keep updating this database if you really want to represent this area characteristic. So for that security, first point, so whether this data is allowed to use by anyone or only to an individual or only to a certain group of people, that you can manage by using some registration process, or there are many other methods. Then data integrity, what is the integrity of your data? Whether it is very good or whether what is the accuracy, what methods you have used. So all those things should be available in your portal. Then data storage, how do you store your data, how you are making it available to the others, whether it takes time or it will be very fast. The data retrieval, the same thing which I have explained. how do you retrieve by the registration process, or maybe someone send you an email and then you send them a link from where you then can download the data and then data update. So I give you one example for this database update. So if you want to keep updating this database, then the people may refer only your particular portal to get the information about the water quality of Mumbai, right? Next is the qualitative and quantitative analysis. So data analysis and interpretation, whether you have provided any flexibility to analyze such information which are available in your database and what methods you are using. And then the next point is visualization or result. So how do you represent this result? So because if you put a tabular data for, let us say, water quality of Delhi, Mumbai city, so visualization plays a very critical role in this GIS, because you need to decide what method or what form you are going to represent your data, so that the audience can understand it very easy. Now, what are the different application of this geographical information system? So geographical information system में, so the first one is resource exploration. ठीक है, so the first one is here your resource exploration. ये आपका इसका पहला application है, which is here. The next is for engineering drawing. Here it is, engineering drawing. Then demographic analysis, the third one, the demographic analysis. Then the topographic and geo process modeling, the fourth one. Watershed analysis, the fifth one. Logistic routing, then the site logistic routing is the sixth one, and the site selection is the seventh one, and many more, because here the list is very long and all the list cannot be listed here, all the application cannot be listed here, because the application of GIS nowadays is in all the application in all the domains. Now let us understand what type of data we are using in the GIS. So for that we need to see what the major characteristics of data and what we are using that in GIS, right? So when you are talking about the data type, so first one is your raster data. So what do you mean by raster data? Raster data is nothing but your remote sensing data in the form of images. जो हमारे remote sensing images, जो हमारा remote sensing का data है, उसको अगर हम image के form में ले आए, वही हमारा raster data है. So here the raster data sets are basically those data which has grid or cells or pixels or elements. So if you have such elements in your data, that means they qualify for the raster data. So here in the raster data, you can see easily, you can find the pixels, right? The next type of data is vector data, where you have points, line, and polygon. So I guess you are familiar with the point, line, and this polygon. ये तीन पॉइंट जो है वो उससे आप familiar हो गए, point, line, and polygon से, right? So I guess you have already aware, you are already familiar with these points. Now let us see how exactly it is different from the raster. So here you can see this is 1 point. Okay, I will show you how these are different. So here it is 1 point. Here it is just you can see here it is 1 point. This is some lines. So here there are some lines and there are polygons. So what is the difference between the three? So points are like individual features, and 2 points if they connected with a line, right? So a line will have 2 points, and if this is enclosed, then they are known as polygons. So here you can see these are polygon, right? So these are your polygon. So ये दो पॉइंट को जोड़ने पे हमने उसको लाइन मिला और उसको अगर इनक्लोज कर दिया तो हमें पॉलीगन मिल गया. नाउ लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड the benefits or advantages we have when we have our raster data and what are the advantages we have been with our vector data. So we'll start with the raster data. So here we store the images as rows and column of the digital number or values for each cell that exactly matches with our remote sensing data. The next point is area divided into pixel. Digital output of any camera or sensor is a raster data based on the map scale or a spatial resolution. Each pixel represents the area, very useful in representing the continuous variation or thematic or dense data. Hence, raster data में हम क्या करते हैं? We store the images as row and column of the digital number or values for each cell that exactly matches with our remote sensing data. So next point is area divided into pixels. The digital output of any camera or sensor is a raster data based on the map scale or a spatial resolution. Each pixel represents the area, very useful in representing the continuous variation or thematic or dense data. So when you are having too many data sets, the kind of representation or the raster data type is very useful, very simple data structure, because in one column you will have latitude, longitude and digital number, right? And then you can represent and you can store this in your pixel. So each pixel will have three values, right? So like that, you can store this raster data and requires large storage space because this area is divided into small pixels and each pixel will have associated values and those values need to be stored in your hard disk. So it requires the largest space. Commonly used data format, it will be JPG, TIFF and GeoTIFF that you already know, right? तो जब वेक्टर डेटा की बात होगी, in vector data we have the simplest element, that is known as point. So you have point data, and the next one is set of connected points, which are known as line, and the third one is set of connected line, and which is basically enclosed. They are known as polygon. So here you have three different types of data in vector. So you have vector point, vector line, or vector polygon. Now in vector data, ये वेक्टर डेटा में हमारे तीन तरह के हो गए, पॉइंट, सिंपलेस्ट एलिमेंट, लाइन, सेट ऑफ कनेक्टेड पॉइंट, एंड पॉलीगन, सेट ऑफ connected line that is enclosed. Now coming to the other part, in vector data, area separated with the different polygon statistics can be estimated for an individual line or polygon. So that is very easy here, very useful in representing the discrete data. Now let us understand what exactly it means when we are talking about raster data and vector data. Discrete means where you can find out one particular point where the values are ending or the classes ending. So let us see some example. This is one where you have a forest class, जहाँ पे आपके पास एक forest class है. Take this example where you have a forest class and you have a water body. Forest class भी है और आपके पास water body भी है, right? So what you will do, so forest will not end exactly at this particular point. There may be some trees here, right? There may be some trees here, right? So somewhere it may be less or more. In the vector data, you have point, line, and polygon to represent such features. So when you are using that, you have a restriction, like you will decide a boundary from where you will say this is the forest, this is non-forest. So in that case, you are making a boundary for the discrete class. But in case if there is a mixture, like here, if there is a wetland and here the classes are overlapping, so slowly it is getting converted into another class. So in that case, what will happen? This vector line will not be useful. But in case if you know that this is the boundary of my class, then this vector data is very, very good. So very useful in representing the discrete data where you know exactly where is your boundary. But in case of continuous data, raster is good because you will have pixels here, and it doesn't matter how many pixels are coming here and there. So you can always represent the continuous data better with the raster data and discrete with the vector data. So this is that is the advantage when you are dealing with the vector and the raster data. Now the next point is, now we'll see the next point. See, next point is in the vector data, is many attributes can be associated with each polygon. So suppose if this is your map, here it is your map. So these are the polygon or lines or points. So for each point, you will have X, Y, right? What is the location? Then what is the unique ID? So let us say Z, and then you can make many columns here. You can make here, you can see there are many columns. You can see here many columns are here, right? You can make many columns. So here, and you can see the different parameters estimated are measured in the field or derived from any other sources. So this kind of information you can easily save here for a given particular location. But in the raster data, it will be difficult because the raster basically we have pixel, and the pixel size may be 30 by 30 meter or 2 by 2 meter or 0.5 by 0.5 meter. So the information which has been collected from the field may not be for the 30 by 30 meter or 2 by 2 meter or 0.5 by 0.5 meter. So in that case, you need to pinpoint where exactly this data has been collected. So in that case, vector is very Good. So now coming to more about the vector data. Next is very complex data structure, because you can save many columns and many parameters. Good representation of data and map, because here you can provide different colors, texture. So the representation or the visualization of your data will be very good. Requires a small storage space, because everything will be stored in ASCII format or in the values. You do not need much space for saving such vector data. So apart from this raster and vector data, you have another type of data which is known as TIN. TIN का मतलब हुआ triangulated irregular network. So this is your TIN, triangular irregulated network. So triangulated irregular network, TIN, is a vector-based geographic data prepared by triangulating a set of points, treating them as a vertices. Now here you can see it is a digital surface where morphological representation is done. The vertices are joined to form a network of the edges. You can just see this figure. There are interpolation techniques used to construct this triangle. So you can see the interpolation technique which is used to construct these triangles. So now you just see these points, basically the red dots. Okay, they are the places where we have selected our parameter, but we want to identify what is the value of that particular parameter in these places where we have not done any field investigation. So in that case, this TIN data is very useful, because that will give you the interpolated values between those two measured data. So you are going to perform the interpolation here. So here you can see these lines are basically, they are known as edges, and the surface, this is known as convex hull, and the faces are these places, right? So these three are very important, as this TIN, and the points where you have actual data, they are known as vertices. Now TIN is used to represent the three-dimensional object, that is X, Y, and Z. So this is very useful when we are working with topography. So where we want to generate a digital elevation model, that is DEM. So in that case, this TIN is very useful. So using methods of computational geometry, the points are connected into what is called triangulation, forming a network of triangles. The lines of the triangle are called edges, and the interior area is called a face or a facet. While the TIN model is somewhat more complex than the simple point, line, and polygon vector model or the raster model. It is actually quite useful for representing the elevation, because the elevation is the value where you need the location variation, right? So for that, we need many vertices, so that you can have more accurate representation of the topography. So this TIN data format is very useful, especially in the digital elevation model generation. In the TIN data, we have certain technical terms which you need to understand. So first one is the nodes, the fundamental building block of a TIN. The nodes originate from the points and line vertices contained in the input data sources. Every node in the TIN surface must have a Z value. Then only you can interpolate the edges, or basically every node is joined with its nearest neighbor by the edges to form the triangle. Each edge has two nodes, but a node may have two or more edges, because edges have a node with a Z value at each end. It is possible to calculate a slope around the edge from one node to another. Here you can see the triangle. Each triangular facet describes the behavior of a portion of the TIN surface. The x, y, and z coordinate value of a triangle. Three nodes can be used to derive the information about the facet. It's such as slope, aspect, surface area, and surface length. So these are the common terms which we frequently use while working with the TIN. So the next point is hull. The hull of a TIN is formed by one or two more polygons containing the entire set of data points used to construct the TIN. The hull polygon defines the zone of the interpolation of the TIN. So the next point is topology. That topological structure of TIN is defined by maintaining the information, defining each triangle, node, edge number, type, and adjacency to the other triangle. For each triangle, a TIN record. The triangle number, the number of each adjacent triangle, the three nodes defining the triangle, that is x coordinate, y coordinate of each node, the surface z value of each node, the edge type of the each triangle edge, hard or soft topology basically deals or it records or it keeps a record of all the associated boundaries or the points or the surfaces to define the location, position of a particular point. Now let us see how we are representing our data in case we have the raster data, vector data. So which one is more close to our real surface, right? So when we are dealing with what with that you can. Now see here, see when we're talking about the data representation, whether it is vector or a raster or whether it is your real world. So when we have raster data, so it will have all the pixels and where you can depict the continuous changes, right? But when we are talking about the vector data, we can mark the boundaries of some features, right? And in the real world, we have both together because some of the classes, they are changing slowly, but some of the classes which are changing abruptly. So vectors are good to decide or define the boundary of any class, but the local variation can be better depicted by this raster. So if you want to display or represent your study area in better manner, then you are supposed to integrate this raster and vector together. So, so that it will be close to your real surface. I hope you understood that with raster and the vector, we can add some other parameters also apart from the digital number and the vector polygon ID. So what are they and how do we do that? So they are actually known as attributes. So in this slide, we will see that what are the attributes. So they are the additional information available in this particular polygon. So you can see, considering this our map, right? So this is the boundary of your map. Here we can see this is the boundary of your map, right? And now here you can see this is class 1, okay, class 1. This is your class 2, this is your class 3, this is your class 4, this will be your class 5, 6, 7, and class 8, right? Now, and last one was your class 9. Now, by looking at it, can you say what are the parameters attached to this particular map? No, because as per the class, 1 is represented with this color 2, with this color 3, with this color, and we don't have any other information. But when we are having or when we are dealing with the attributes, we can add many more columns apart from the unique ID or class number, and that can be used to represent this area. So in this attribute table, you can see there are some information which are not available in this map, but in this table, they are listed. So in this table, they are listed. we can add many more columns apart from this unique ID or class number, and that can be used to represent this area. In this attribute table, you can see there are some information which are not available in this map, but in this table they are listed. So if you see this ID 2, right? So 2 is here. Just take an example. 2 is here, right? So the area is this much. Area is this much. So this is one example. This is dummy data. Just I wanted to show you how these attributes look like. So when you are having this attribute and suppose you are having a column of area, so this is the area for this ID2. So this is the area for this ID2. So this is the area covered by 2 class. Then 3 is the this much, and the value of this particular parcel is this much, right? So such information or such attribute table you can create. I can give you some more other examples, like you have point map and they represent some location in some area. And for these points, you have collected some information, like first information is unique ID that you cannot change. So that will be fixed. So all the values will be decided and updated on the basis of UID. Now here the first will be your area. Let us say what is the population, right? So what is the population? What is the quality of air, right? Water quality, what is the depth of your groundwater? So those information you can make a table and you can attach to that particular point map. And then using this point map, you can run a query, or because all the values are in the background, you have all the values, whatever you have collected, maybe thousands of parameters. So for a single point, so if you want to identify, give me a location where X parameter is less and the rest are high, right? Or X is minimum from all the collected value. So much queries can be run on this particular database and you can get the answer. That is very easy. So this is the advantage when you are dealing with vector and raster data in GIS environment. I've already discussed about the topic that is topology. Okay, already discussed this topic, topology in TIN, that's a triangulated irregular network. But now let us see what the utility of this topology in the vector data, because this topology is very, very important in all different types of vector data. So a GIS topology जो है, it is a set of rules and behavior. It is a set of rules and behavior that model how points, line, and polygons share their geometry, right? So here the same map I have put here. Now you can see this particular edge. This is shared between 1 and 2, 3. I will show you. This particular set is shared between 1 and 2, right? यहाँ तक आपको दिख रहा होगा. And this particular 2 is getting this boundary with 3. ठीक है, और ये किससे boundary मिल रहा है इसको? 3 से. So how exactly we are saying that, okay, this line is shared between 1 and 2 and this line is shared between 4 and 2, और ये line किसके बीच में share हो रही है? 4 and 2 के बीच में share हो रही है. ठीक, and this line is shared between 4 and 5. तो ऐसे हम देख सकते हैं, and we have some line which is shared between 4 and 7 and 8 is inside this 7, or 7 is sharing on right hand side, or this 6. So all these location parameters, how do we define? We need this topology to define the area or point where exactly they are and how much they are placed. So for example, adjacent features such as 2 countries will have a common boundary between them. They share this edge. The set of the country polygons which within each state must completely cover the state polygon and share the edges with the state boundary. Otherwise, they will be failing in some other state, right? So those things can be defined by, or it can be stored by like this by topology. ठीक है, तो topology का अगर definition थोड़ा सा और देखना हो तो इस slide में देखिए. It is a collection of numeric data which clearly describes the adjacency, containment, which is basically coincidence, and connectivity between the map features, and which can be stored and manipulated by a computer. This also says a set of rules on how objects relate to each other. Higher level objects have a special topology rules, like here you can see this A and B, they are sharing this E line. Okay, A and B may, here you can see between A and B, this is sharing the E line, right? So polygon A and B have shared the node C. Uh, so this is node C and D, right? And HE. So this yellow line is E here. Line A and B have endpoint node C, right? So this is node CDE. Line A and B shares E. So A and B shares E. So that is how we are defining this topology of any given vector data. And here I want to show you a typical structure what we follow in GIS. So अगर typical structure को मैं दिखाऊं कि what we follow in GIS, it is basically, so in a GIS process we start with defining our problem. So हम start करते हैं अपने problem को define करते हैं. We define what is our objective, what we exactly want to do, and then we define what are the criteria we are going to follow to achieve this objective or aim of our study. Then we have to build the database. So basically you will collect the data, you will process them, and then you will bring them into GIS environment. Then you will perform the GIS criteria, whatever you have decided here, right? Now the next one is your output, where your output can be seen or you can represent your data in this result. Once you get the result, you can apply your understanding about that area or about that problem, and then you take the decision. And once you have done that, then it will be complete circle which we follow in the GIS. So here we start with the defining the problem and we end with the decision. प्रॉब्लम से हम स्टार्ट करते हैं. पहला स्टेप हमारा है प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन किया, GIS क्राइटेरिया को समझा, build the data, then we have GIS analysis, then we have output, and then is your decision. So this is how the complete typical structure of the GIS. ठीक है. अब इसके बाद का जो स्लाइड है वो डिफाइन करेगा GIS प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में. ठीक है. Integration of information. So you have seen earlier that in GIS we have flexibility, we can bring different information together. So here you have one example in this map. These points are basically representing the capitals. Here you have a state boundary, but here you have water boundary. ठीक है, state boundary है आपके पास, water boundary है आपके पास, right? So here you have water boundary. So you have lake or rivers or maybe small ponds. Then you have road network, and then you have river boundaries or river. Now individually, if you see them, they have some information. ठीक है, इसके पास कुछ ना कुछ information है. But can we bring them together? If so, then it will make more sense. So then ultimately what we do, we bring them together and then we prepare our output. So that we can easily identify what are the different states are having more water or less water, right? So at least those information can be interpreted immediately here in GIS. We have learned what are the basic structure, what are the different data types, how we can use them. And now let us see what are the different application areas and what we apply this GIS. So GIS के application में first one is urban planning and management. You can just read this. Then the environmental science, political science, civil engineering, business, education, administration, real estate, healthcare, and there are many more which cannot be listed here because the list is endless. So you can just remember, GIS gives you a flexibility where you can integrate the spatial and geographic data and you can perform a type of analysis. So that is the advantage when we are dealing with the GIS. In GIS, there is a very important function जिसको हम कहते हैं spatial data analysis. So spatial data, again we are talking about the data जिसके पास latitude हो, longitude हो, positional values हो. Without that, they are not qualified in this spatial data category. So in GIS, we can perform this spatial data analysis, right? So till GIS application will bind of this part one of the GIS part. Next part में हम देखेंगे from the spatial data. So till now we have covered the different aspects of the geographical information system. ठीक है, तो geographical information system में जो हमारी important चीजें थी वो थी geographic information system की एक definition, ठीक है, theoretical definition. Then एक difference, what is the difference between data and information. Then how the transformation of data to information take place. Then it is your about the information system. Then is digital information system, that what is the difference between information system and digital information system. Then you have the geographic information system components, various components, that is data acquisition, database management, qualitative and quantitative analysis, visualization and results. So we have then applications of geographic information system. Then we have different data types, that is raster and vector. Then we define what is raster data, that is basically the remotely sensed images, right? Then we have also seen about the vector data, basically point, line and polygon. Point start with simplest element, line is set of connected points, and polygon set of connected lines enclosed. Then area is separated with different polygons in the vector data, right? Then we have also seen some other data, that is triangulated irregular network, which is commonly known as TIN. It is a vector based geographic data. Then you have various technical terms related to triangulated irregular network, that is nodes, edges and triangles, hull and topology. So उसके बाद हम डेटा का रिप्रेजेंटेशन कैसे करते हैं. डिफरेंट डेटा है हमारे पास, raster, vector and real world. And then we have seen what are the different attributes. Then what is your GIS topology, it's very important. Then we have seen a typical structure of GIS. अगर हम पूरा इंटीग्रेट कर दें अभी आज के लेक्चर को, तो डिफाइन प्रॉब्लम को डिफाइन करते हैं, GIS क्राइटेरिया को डिफाइन करते हैं, then we build a data, GIS analysis, output and then decision. Then we have the GIS platform. मतलब अगर हम इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन कर दें तब तो हमारे लिए यूजफुल है उस इंफॉर्मेशन का, उस डेटाबेस का, राइट? तो ये, और उसके बाद हमने देखा GIS एप्लीकेशन का, बेसिकली अर्बन प्लानिंग एंड मैनेजमेंट का, और एनवायरमेंटल साइंसेस में, पॉलिटिकल साइंसेस में, सिविल इंजीनियरिंग, बिजनेसेस, एजुकेशनल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन, रियल एस्टेट एंड हेल्थ केयर. So this is all about today's lecture. जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है स्पेशियल डेटा. जब भी हम बात करेंगे GIS की तो मैं बार बार बोलूंगा स्पेशियल डेटा, स्पेशियल डेटा. तो स्पेशियल डेटा बेसिकली क्या है ये हम पार्ट 2 में देखेंगे. So I guess this is clear to you all. If you have any doubt, you can write directly to me at ankur495@bit.ac.in. So we'll wind up here and we'll be back with part 2 of the GIS. GIS एक लंबा है थोड़ा सा, तो हम एक एक करके GIS के बारे में पढ़ते चलेंगे. ज्योग्राफिकल इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम, रिमोट सेंसिंग और GIS को जब हम मिला देते हैं तो एक कोर्स बन जाता है, रिमोट सेंसिंग एंड GIS. So thank you so much. Thank you for listening it very patiently. Have a nice day. Best of luck. Thank you.